When you talk about the Universal Negro Improvement Association, you always want to center the man by the name of Marcus Messiah Garvey, born in Jamaica, coming to the United States, launches his Universal Negro Improvement Association, and gets over 1,000 branches throughout the United States and the Caribbean.
Welcome to the Black Cabinet Education, where Lloyd teaches our Black history. Like and follow.
But most people fail to understand that Marcus Garvey had two women that backed him, and they were powerhouses. One would be his first wife, Amy Ashwood Garvey. She would actually be the co-founder of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. She was one of the thought partners with Garvey and also shared in the Pan-African views. Later, it was Amy Jakes Garvey. She would be the editor. She would be the one who would document and biographer his whole life. She would write what Garvey would think and also edit the newspaper. But behind these women were a slew of women. And these women will also be the backbone to the entire organization. Check out the book about the Black Cross nurses in Efficient Womanhood. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Because behind every great organization that might be led by men, women have the backbone and the heart of the movement.
Let me cook.
That means they had a relationship.
That's a relationship.
Yeah.
That's a situationship.
Please turn the page.
Oh! Who is that?
That is your great-grandfather.
That's Calvin?
That is Calvin Columbus Franklin. That is your father's grandfather.
He had blue eyes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I've had like spidey sense, like my whole body, like when I saw him. Wow. This is wild. This is crazy.
What's it like to see that?
Okay, all right. Now that I've gotten over the white man of it all, his energy, he gives like, I can see he's got like a puppy dog eyes type of thing. And I can see
why she would fall for
why
him?
she would like him.
Yeah.
He got the suit on, down. This is wild. This is...
Support the preservation of a vital cultural tradition. Vodou faces erasure and misrepresentation in today's world. Your support ensures Vodou's future and cultural integrity. Help preserve this vital culture today.
Honor and respect, honor and respect, honor and respect. Divine all blessed greetings and salutations. It is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. Voodoo Hoodoo 101, powered, produced, promoted, sponsored, and supported by NOIVD, New Orleans International Vodou Day. The core mission of NOIVD exists to restore rightful dignity, authority, and global recognition to the Vodou and Voodoo family of traditions. It positions New Orleans as a cultural and spiritual crossroads where Africa, Haiti, and the diaspora meet in mutual respect. The mission centers on these three pillars: cultural preservation, safeguarding lineages, languages, rituals, and cosmologies from distortion, commercialization, and erasure. Authentic representation, ensuring that the world encounters these traditions through legitimate priests, priestess, chiefs, and communities. Global diplomacy, building bridges between Benin, Haiti, New Orleans, and the wider diaspora to strengthen unity and shared purpose. This mission frames NOIVD not as a festival, but as a cultural embassy for Vodou worldwide. We continue to invite your support, participation, visitation, donations, promotion, and sponsorship of this powerful legacy and expanding international endeavor. Please continue to visit our website for connection and more information on symposium, Afroecology exhibit, sacred process from the river to Congo Square, and our ritual ceremony. We are also thankful for your continued support and participation on all social media platforms, and for those who participate and support this podcast live in chat and always in archive at your leisure and convenience. And do join us live on the platform with your mic, camera, or photo by way of the QR code in the corner of your screen or by utilizing our URL, which I will be scrolling momentarily at the bottom of the screen. Our NOIVD code is available in the in the upper left corner of your screen, but depending on your device, you may not necessarily be able to see it. Tonight, we continue our conversation. Why do we need Vodou, Vodou, and Voodoo today? What role do these traditions offer in Western societies? And of course, our mission of NOIVD, New Orleans International Vodou Day, in protecting the authenticity of these practices. Thank you always to my beloved co-hosts and panelists for your continued support and participation. I will be unmuting you momentarily. The beloved Queen Mother, Sister Toni Val Martinez, community mother, community activist, uh, community resource source center, certainly. And we certainly appreciate your dedication to the platform. Elder Reggie, we know here as Green Soap, leader and founder of Shrine of the White Cloth, a committed co-administrator of NOIVD, and as well as our beloved sister, Queen Mother, Sister Bianca Johnson Plessy, initiated member of the Source Ancient 4, as well as a committed team member, co-administrator of NOIVD. And again, we're certainly grateful for your continued participation nightly, 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, Central Standard Time. The way Vodun, Vodou, and Voodoo are moving through Western societies today is not a return to the past. It is a return to ourselves, a remembering, a rerouting, a recentering of the human being inside a universe that is alive, responsive, and participatory. And when we speak of the movement, this rising, this awakening, we must begin where the story begins. The motherland, Ouida, Benin. Because before the ships, before the chains, before the scattering of nations, there was order, there was cosmology, there was a relationship between human beings, nature, ancestors, and destiny that was not broken. It was interrupted. And yet, even in interruption, it survived. When Voudon left the shores of Ouida, it did not travel as a relic. It traveled as a nation, as a breath, as a drum, as the whisper of Legba at the crossroads and the thunder of Hervioso in the sky. In Haiti, in the West Indies, in the Caribbean, Voudon became Vodou, a new language for an old truth, a spiritual technology adapted to new landscapes, new oppressions, new possibilities. It became the engine of revolution, the backbone of community, the keeper of dignity when the world tried to strip dignity away. And in Brazil and South America, it became Candomblé, Umbanda, Batuque, each one a living archive of African nations reborn in diaspora. Each one a testament to the fact that you can uproot a people, but you cannot uproot a cosmology that lives inside the bones. In New Orleans, the second transformation. And then there is New Orleans where Voudon became voodoo. a Creole child of Africa, Haiti, the Congo, the Choctaw, the French, the Spanish, and the streets of Treme. Here, the spirits learn to speak through Grigri, through song, through the river, through the marketplace, through the hands of women who refuse to let the old ways die. New Orleans voodoo is not a museum piece. It is a living, breathing, evolving nation. A nation that has always been shaped by migration, by survival, by creativity, by resistance, and by the insistence that the sacred belongs to the people. Western societies are spiritually hungry. The Western world today, a spiritual landscape in crisis, disconnected, overstimulated, but undernourished, surrounded by information, but starving for meaning. People are searching for ancestral grounding in a world that feels rootless, community in a world that feels isolating, embodied spirituality in a world that lives in its own head, ritual in a world that has forgotten how to mark transitions, reciprocity in a world obsessed with consumption. Vodun, Vodou, and Voodoo offer what Western society has lost: a cosmology where humans are not separate from nature, a spiritual system where ancestors are active participants, a worldview where destiny is shaped through relationship, not domination, a practice where healing is communal, not individualistic, a tradition where the sacred is not abstract, it is lived. These traditions are not entering the West. They have been here. What is happening now is that the West is finally listening. How these traditions are reshaping the West is a peculiar conversation unto itself. They are reshaping Western spirituality in three major ways. Number one, re indigenizing the Western mind. Voodoo, Vodou, and Voodoo remind Western societies that spirituality is not a belief system, it is a relationship system, a system with land, with lineage, with destiny, with community. This is a radical shift from the hyper individualism of Western religion. Number two, restoring the sacred to the everyday. In these traditions, the divine is not locked in temples. It is in the kitchen, in the marketplace, in the river, in the body. These rechants, this re-enchants the world for people who have been taught that the sacred is distant and abstract. We are also challenging colonial narratives. These traditions force the West to confront its own history, its violence, its distortions, its theft of culture. And in doing so, they open the door for healing, reconciliation, and truth telling. The role of NOIVD, a cultural and spiritual embassy. NOIVD stands at the crossroads of past, present, and future. It is not simply an organization, it is a diplomatic body for African spiritual nations. New Orleans International Vodou Day's role is threefold. Number one, gatekeeping authenticity. Not gatekeeping to exclude, but to protect, to ensure that what is being taught, practiced, and shared carries lineages, integrity, and respect, to prevent the dilution, distortion, and commodification that Western societies often impose on sacred traditions. Number two, building bridges across the diaspora. From Ouida to Haiti, from the Caribbean to Brazil, from South America to New Orleans, NOIVD creates a table where all these nations can sit together, speak together, and be recognized as one extended family. and educating the public with authority. NOIVD provides clarity where there has been confusion, truth where there has been myth, context where there has been caricature. It gives the world a place to learn from practitioners, not from Hollywood. And certainly we crafted and created and again recreated this podcast, this platform that has been on air now since 2006, but certainly recrafted in the last 3 years to the benefit and promotion of NOIBD, but the continued benefit and promotion of the authentic practice of ATR, authentic traditional religious systems, certainly authentic African based traditional religious systems. And as my beloved co hosts begin to unmute and come through, we speak now of the future and a new spiritual horizon. As Vodun, Vodou, and Voodoo continue to rise, Western societies will not simply adopt them, they will be transformed by them. They will learn to honor ancestors, to respect the land, to see the divine in community, to understand destiny as a partnership, not a punishment, to embrace ritual as a way of life. And NOIVD will be the lighthouse guiding that transformation, protecting the roots while nurturing the branches. And again, I welcome my beloved co-host, Queen Mother, Sister Toni Martinez. Please do come on in, Elder Reggie, Green Soap, and our beloved Bianca Johnson Plessy. Good evening, and what say you?
Good evening, everyone on the panel and in the listening audience. How y'all doing tonight? When I think about it, and I'm always thinking about this, how everybody think that like the Haitian voodoo, the New Orleans voodoo, the Ghetto voodoo, all of that, they seem to think like it's different, like they in competition with each other, when really the basis is the same thing. It's like a tree. And the original from the motherland is the trunk. And New Orleans and Haiti and all other places, they branches, but it's the same tree. It's not like one tree have a leaf with figs on it, I have a branch, and then the other part of that same trunk have an orange limb. No, it's all the same thing, and we need to come together on what we have in common. Of course, where you live at, your geography, is going to change some things. The availability of some things that was in the motherland are no longer available. But we evolve. We learn to use the closest thing that we can find to the original. And I think that, this NOIVD pull the people together and show them how it's really the same thing with like different dialects. It's like Spanish is the language, but it's spoken in different dialects. I thought Cuban people spoke the same Spanish that Mexicans speak, and Puerto Ricans spoke that same language. I found out from my husband, no, we don't. We don't speak the same, but it's all Spanish. And because it's so much alike, they speak enough of it alike that they can understand. With a little time and conversation, they understand what each other's saying, but spoken fluently is two different things. And that's the way I feel about everything that's going on right now. And I think that once we could get a large majority of people to realize that, we'll have more harmony and be able to get more things done. What say you, Elder Reggie?
Thank you, Sister Toni, and my illustrious panel, Sister Bianca, Divine Prince. Awesome topic as usual for the collective audience that's listening in. I'd just like to read the question again, and then I'll take my viewpoint on it. The question is, why do we need Vodun, Voodoo, and Voodoo? And my viewpoint is because one, we under spiritual and physical attack at all times, our finances, our personal lives, our extended family lives, our community, and our country in general. With that being said, how do you fight spirit? How do you fight against the unseen? Well, the one way you combat that is to use your unseen forces to fight those forces on that level. Because what manifests in the unseen eventually shows up in the physical level. And voodoo, and voodoo help in that area because you're focusing now on the spirit realm and the things that are moving, let's say, on different parallels. When you deep into those arenas, you're able to make change. You're able to do things to help others to move forward. Because we do know that spirits possess people, spirit haunts people, spirits even nag and pick at people for unknown reasons. And then we have to dive deep and to combat those spirits. And that's what I wanted to add. Sister Bianca?
Hi, how are you? Good evening, everyone out there in the audience. I do have some questions about past and future. So in the past, we heard, like a lot of people heard about voodoo and hoodoo in different cultures and stuff, and in Africa and everything with our ancestors and stuff. But at that time, a lot of people was afraid. I felt like that back in that time, when we talking about pagan and witchcraft, people was afraid of that, but they made that like that was a norm. And then they made it like voodoo and stuff was like the most horriblest things in the world, terrifying. And maybe at that time, maybe they felt like a lot of people didn't get results or something. But what do you feel like in today's world, like the future now? Now that you've seen a lot of people are starting to have more understanding to it, starting to have more knowledge about it. And there are a lot more people who are practicing that and want to learn and study and go back to the ancestral in the motherland and also using that in their everyday life, even if it's just for struggling or survival or healing. Do you think is that because maybe a lot of people now are starting to see results? Like before, it used to be like oh, that's just a myth. Oh, it's not believable, or like they have so many things to say about it. But do you think it's because that now that a lot of people are starting to see that their ancestors are answered to them, these things are coming out in their favor, things are working, um like they're seeing results versus what they didn't see in the past?
I first of all, I appreciate what both you and Queen Mother, Sister Toni said. In terms of people making these strong uh, commentary about them being different, or not having anything in common with each other, or not being interconnected, and they all share a root at the mother continent, and certainly a root in terms of history, through the Middle Passage, through the transatlantic slave trade. Now, more directly to Bianca's question, I don't necessarily think so much of its lack of manifestation or its ability to produce results. That has been documented certainly since the begin before the Middle Passage. and certainly continues on into the present. But I think it's difficult to have this conversation without examining the effects of the transatlantic slave trade, and particularly colonization and Abrahamic religions. Again, Sister Toni brought up a really valid point about the sort of disconnected demonstration that people will often seek to present about the practices and the traditions. I'm saying that, what's going on with Haiti is completely different, separate than what's going on, in the US, and then what's going on in West Africa. But when we examine the religious colonial aspect of it, we see a very familiar pattern repeating itself, playing out on the mother continent, particularly in the last 100 or so years, with the evangelizing and Christianizing of the continent, and Islamic influences on the continent, but also the influence of technology. Certainly, Instagram and TikTok and YouTube have given us a unusual view into their relationship with colonized religions and ATR, their indigenous spirit practices. And I'm seeing a trending pattern here, but also on the continent where people are breaking away from the colonized mindset, the colonized religions and philosophies and ways of sort of viewing the life and its challenges. And many are returning to Aboriginal, indigenous traditions and systems, both on the continent as well as here. It's very easy for us, Sister Bianca, to sort of position it always from a local context, and that has its benefits. But when I look at the greater community, and I'm sure Elder Reggie has an opinion about it as a frequent traveler back and forth to West Africa, um, we see a very similar pattern, almost repeating itself, on the content in terms of the promotion and domination of religion, Abrahamic religions, but now a strong push from the grassroots level to indigenous practices, spiritual practices. And I would like to say and believe, I could be wrong, but I would like to believe Americans have take some credit for that influence, being that we're supposed to be living in the freest nation in the world, with quote unquote freedom of speech and freedom of demonstration. But certainly the internet has even the playing field. I played a pre-show video of an African podcast discussing their attitude towards AI. And some of them certainly see it, as problematic, not quite like the devil, the way we see it here in the West, but they tend to view it as a evening of the playing field, a leveling of the playing field, making it greater opportunities for all of us to communicate, access, intersect at the crossroads. So both of you spoke to and brought up really valid points. We all share a root. I can remember coming online in 2006, post Hurricane Katrina, really brand new to social media. And at that time, there were ATR diaspora wars. The Lukumi were fighting against the Haitian Vodou, were fighting against the Caribbean, and I'm sorry, the Cuban and Puerto Rican demonstrations of Santeria, and were claiming, Lukumi was superior to Nago, and it was all about competition, ego, misinformation, and utilizing this again, this free space to exercise, freedom of opinion, freedom of speech, freedom of thought, but then really exposing and being exposed to the greater community in a way that we had never had before, where our exposure was localized, was based in fear and legends told by, Big Auntie and now, or Uncle John and now, that kept us again in line with organized religion, structured Abrahamic systems, wherever we were placed, in the world. And we're certainly breaking through that We're passing through the age of Aquarius, as they used to say in the 60s. We're certainly broken through that veil, and many are breaking the chains that bind us to these Abrahamic traditions that sought to oppress us and dominate us and enslave us, and are now seeking, authentic practice in these root traditions, and are paying more attention, Bianca. I even remember in the church, folks say, God didn't stop blessing. We stopped paying attention or lowered our frequency and our ability sort of to focus. So, pain, trauma, revolution, war, rumors of war, and then having it all played out before us visually on TV and on the internet, and in social media, it's unlike any other time in human history. So I think all of those elements play a role in what we see happening today. And before I pass the mic, I've always said, and I continue to say, our salvation, and forgive the sort of Christian sounding usage of the word, but our salvation is in these root practices and these root traditions. Sankofa, going back and picking up what was really important that we put down so that we can move forward with a sense of clarity and empowerment.
Yes, we definitely need to move forward with empowerment. And I think NOIVD will help a lot of people become more empowered as we bust the myths and find out that the magical book is not written by God himself. More people ask the question, well, if that's not true, what is true? And they go looking back, if they're inquisitive like me, and they go looking back and they go looking backwards and they go looking backwards. And then they find out the Greek gods, and then they find out the Roman gods, and then they find out where the Greek gods and the Roman gods got their gods from and just changed the name. But you have to put in the work. And that's the thing I find that is the biggest problem. People don't want to put in the work. I've had people ask me, well, what do I do? And when I tell them the first thing out their mouth, all that? Come on now. People don't want to put in the work. That's what I see as one of the biggest problems.
I would agree with that, but I would certainly like to hear Elder Reggie's opinion of that. He, as well as I, both have really active temples and regular and long term membership, and new people who are coming. And Elder Reggie just returned from bringing new people into the community, into the practice and the tradition in West Africa, in Ghana. And so I would be curious to hear Elder Reggie's opinion on that. People's willingness to get involved, to then learn the practice, the tradition, language, the ritual, the routine, and then their level of commitment to that. Elder Reggie?
His mic must be off. But see how y'all have people come to y'all? The people already interested, I think. My conversation with people is them talking in a conversation about a problem they having in their day-to-day life, and me opening my mouth and saying, oh, I know what you can do. And those people who I generally speak to didn't have an interest in it until I said something. That's why they say all that. I don't know if they think it's like on TV, you open a book, you light a candle, and you say a few words and it's done. I don't know if they feel it's like that, but the people that basically come to y'all already looking for it. They already have an interest in it and they want to go further.
Well,
Now,
for the most part, to a great degree, certainly, but we do still get those who are brand new or miseducated or ignorant about the practice or just too young to be sort of looking to the practice as a fix, a repair, a resolution to a particular question or request. And as you suggested, they often want, bring my man back, bring my wife back, fix this, fix that, and they don't consider the rooted ethno-cultural practice and tradition. They don't consider that this is an aspirin for us. This is a lifestyle. This is a diet. This is a way of living and being. And I had this conversation with someone today. I don't support spell work. Even in the dictionary, spell not only references something magical and perhaps peculiar, but it also references something temporary. And many of the requests that I receive, people aren't looking for a temporary fix, a temporary repair, a temporary application. They're really looking to move beyond what I call the weather, the most immediate illusion of the challenge, issue, block, or complication. And they're really looking to root themselves in tradition, in practice, in something that not only heals them, empowers them, help them get their mojo back, as we used to say here in Louisiana, but helps them to then move forward in empowerment and not have to always seek, witches, tarot readers, psychics, outside sources for answers. I believe Elder Reggie may have fixed his technical issues. Elder Reggie, are you with us? No, we still can't hear you.
Yeah, yes, Divine Prince. Thank you. Can you hear me, Divine Prince?
I can hear you now. You're a little bit low, but we can hear you.
I got technical problems out here in the boonies. Okay.
Okay. I guess he's having technical issues on his end. But yeah, people will often, watch a few episodes of Charmed, Skeleton Keys, Serpent in the Rainbow, with no knowledge, no exposure, no understanding of the history and the practice of these traditions. And so that propaganda, as portrayed, through entertainment, is very real for many people. But we see that effect in politics. We see that effect in finances. We see that influence and that effect in terms of how we consume, how we shop, how we spend our money. So it's not specific to our practice in our tradition. It's a way of thinking in the Western world today. Elder Reggie.
I think he's still trying to get it together. He have a few issues, but we're running out of time. And I want to let you, extend your welcome greetings to our other listening platforms. And hopefully by the time it's time to read the announcements, he'll be done got the kinks out.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. Go ahead, Elder Reggie.
Oh, man.
Are you there, Elder Reggie?
Yeah, yes. Can you hear me, Divine Prince?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm trying. I'm gonna have to get an okay, but I'm gonna invest in an Ethernet card, and I'm gonna connect Ethernet starting tomorrow night. I think I'll get a better reception. But you were spot on what you were saying from my perspective, Divine Prince, because what is happening now, especially in 2026, people are having dreams, people are having out of body experiences, people are having financial problems, have some methodologies that could help these areas. But you got to get off the sideline. You have to dive off the cliff and come in. and see that it's not spookism. It is a healing modality. It's been one for hundreds and hundreds of years. But people have to get around all the stereotypes and all these other negative things that they see about in the ATRs and just get involved. It's a beautiful system. And that's what I like to add.
Well, we certainly appreciate your contribution, Elder Reggie, both to the platform, but also at the community level, at the grassroots level. One who's actually doing the work, doing the
Mhm.
fight each and every day. And certainly, we are always thankful for our listenership and participation from social media, all of our Facebook pages, Facebook groups, and platforms where you may be listening and experiencing us from now. We're certainly appreciative of our international audience and listenership by way of LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, and certainly and always thankful for those who tune in and join us by way of Instagram. Instagram is not easy for us to stream to, by the way. It's a bit more complex than some of the other platforms. So it takes a little bit more for us to be present on Instagram every day. And I want to thank Tao4561 for joining us tonight. Um, I believe it's Landell Grinder joined us. Hiru Heptep joined us. Dr. Dream 313 joined us. All Creations joined us. We certainly appreciate your listenership and participation. Kylan Turner, greetings and salutations. Sion Elaine, we certainly do appreciate you. Nine Wonder of the Universe, greetings and salutations to you and yours. The Muddy Waters Botanica, we certainly appreciate your listenership. Empress Niyamar, thank you for your continued support and participation. Ashmo 1985, greetings to you and yours. Six protons, six neutrons, six electrons. We certainly do appreciate your listenership. Ishmael Arahim, we certainly do appreciate you. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And greetings to you always, Apostle Hudson One, for joining us and continuing to support us. And to one of our sponsors, A Curse Man Film, we certainly do appreciate you. We certainly appreciate the film. The documentary is still getting coverage. I'm still getting commentary and emails and clients that saw me or were first exposed to us by way of a Cursed Man film. So thank you so much, A Cursed Man Film, for the opportunity and the documentation, which will certainly go down in history. And again, thank you, Empress Nehemiah. Please do join us on Facebook. We certainly do appreciate you. We have a NOIVD Facebook page. We have a NOIVD, I believe, Instagram, and we have a NOIVD on TikTok. And again, thank you all for joining us weeknights, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on a platform near you by way of our QR code or by way of our URL, which is now scrolling at the bottom of your screen. I will now turn it over to Elder Reggie to remind you of our announcements, to give us his final words, and to close us out. All is a blessing. Elder Reggie's not with us. So I want to remind you that we do indeed have a GoFundMe, active GoFundMe campaign at the top of our NOIVD, New Orleans International Vodou Day website. You certainly can copy down the URL code, gofund.me/A like Apple, 8791, D like David, 7, C like Charles 2, or you can just go directly to our website or scan the QR code and go directly to our website and access the GoFundMe by way of the website. I also want to remind you that we still have just tons of small size, medium size, large size statuary, Santa Muerte statuary at Isle of Botanica. out of Salvation Botanica. So we continue to invite you to visit the Healing Center and the Botanica on the lobby floor, and purchase your supplies and certainly your Santa Muerte statuary. And we certainly do look forward to our coming new moon ritual prayer and application ceremony, which will occur on Wednesday, March 18th, in the zodiac sign of Pisces at 6:30 p.m., 710 Clouet Street, here locally in Bywater. We call that the Clouet Gardens. And it is a ritual spiritual warfare gathering and application ceremony. So whatever your tools and systems of spiritual warfare are, we invite you to come out and be a part of this very powerful, powerful gathering. As they say in social media, only the serious need apply. Only the serious about spiritual warfare need show up and be prepared for this powerful, powerful gathering. And again, we continue to appreciate your continued support, love, sponsorship, donations, offers of volunteership, offers to join us by way of our website at www.vodouday.org, www.vodouday.org. And we look forward to connecting with you again on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, on a platform near you or by way of our website. You can now view and listen to the podcast live as well as in archive at our website, vodouday.org. Good night. All is a blessing. Ayibobo. And as the Yoruba say, Odabo.
Odabo, everyone. Have a nice night.
Odabo.
Support the preservation of a vital cultural tradition. Vodou faces erasure and misrepresentation in today's world. Your support ensures Vodou's future and cultural integrity. Help preserve this vital culture today.
Cleone, eat your veggies. What do we have here? Handle with care. Vous mangez déjà? Happy New Year. Let's season the season. Even the rapper. Okay, I see you. Okay. Sassy dindon. Garlicky Creole me up. Creole jerk spice blend. All that sass without the fuss. Creole masala spice blend. Sassy but sweet. The real sassy.
I want to say a big thank you to my friends at Creole Media for sending me this beautiful care package. Can't wait to use those spices, include them in my recipes, and let you guys know how I feel about them.
Allow me to show you something.
They say I'm crazy and that might be true. I got this right in my DNA, yet I'm coming for you. It's time we turn the tables, flip these motherfuckers on you. I wanna see you hanging from trees. It's time you pay for your dirt and your shit. You created the monster, you created the beast. Now all this savagery you just gon' reap. I'm coming home, daddy, to the plantation, and I'm taking the lives of everybody, including the children, on some Nat Turner. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. I met my girl Harriet at the gate. If you wanna know how she doing, yeah, she's straight. But she had one question: when we gon' get up? All that talking tough, yeah, we don't walk it tough. She got it locked and loaded, got that piece up on her side. She looked me in my eyes and said, "Meet you ready to ride?" Moving forward, you gotta use both eyes. Watch your front and watch your back. Keep your hands up on your gas. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. He sit at the table, but he don't order no bacon. He greet me in those words, assalamu alaikum. Got them glasses on his face and them waves in his head. He go by the name of Detroit Red. He looks me in my eye and says, "You only get one try. Know that your biggest opposition will come from the inside. I know you wanna love them all, but don't even try, because they'll smile up in your face while plotting your demise." Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down.